we're going to go through this on Monday, but with school photos happening, I'm going to do this here, and then you guys can go through it in your own time, rewind, pause, do all that so you understand it. So we're looking at the mixed variables and coefficient questions. I'm going to do a few. I'm not doing all 15 before we go at me like, why am I not doing all 15? So let's start with the first one. 3x squared times 4x to the 5. Again, when we've got a question like this, first thing I said was put like terms together. So those coefficients of 3 and 4, we can multiply those together. The coefficient, your variables, so x squared times x5, x to the 5th, we can put those together. Next, multiply our coefficients, so 3 times 4 is 12, and then we know if we have the same base and we're multiplying, we're going to add those powers, so 2 plus 5. So our final answer is going to be 12x to the 7th. Alright, let's pick another one. I'm going to go with, again, I'll do another multiply one. Let's go with number 5. Number 5 is 2x cubed y squared times 5x to the 4th y. Again, now we've got more than one variable, we're still going to do the same thing. Multiply coefficients together, 2 times 5. Place our variables that are the same together, x cubed times x to the 4th, and y squared times y to the 1. Well, y by itself, so that's y to the power of 1. Again, multiply across, 5 times 2 is 10. Same base, we're multiplying, we're going to add 3 and 4 together. So that's going to be x, 3 plus 4 times y. Again, same base, add those powers, we're multiplying, 2 plus 1. So that's 10 x to the 7th, y to the 3rd. Alright, let's flip. Alright, let's have a look at question 3. 6m to the 7th divided by 3m squared. Again, put our coefficients together. This time we're going to do 6 divide 3. Multiply, because that's multiplied between our variables. M to the 7th divided by m squared. Simplify where we can. We know that 6 divided 3 is 2 times. Now I'm dividing. When we divide, we're going to take those powers away. So it's m to the 7th, take 2. So that's 2m to the 5th. Alright, just like we did before. I'm going to do question 6, because we're now going to add another variable in. So I've got 15a squared b squared divided by 3a squared b. Again, our coefficients, 15 and 3, we can divide those two together. Then we're going to multiply by dividing a squared by a squared. Then multiply, we're going to do b squared divided by b. And we know if b is by itself, got a power of 1. We know 15 divided 3 is 5 times, well, when I'm dividing, I'm going to take the powers away, so 2 take 2 times b, 2 take 1. Again, simplify where we can, so that's 5 times a to the 0 times b to the 1. we know that anything to the 0 is 1, so this is going to be 5 times 1 times b to the 1. 5 times 1 is 5 times b squared, 1 is b1. Alright, the next one I'm going to do is question 12, because we're using power of a power rule, but I've got a negative here, so I just want to do one with a negative. So power of a power says I'm going to take that squared and I'm going to multiply it by every power. So by the power of 5, by the power of x, and the power of y. We don't have a power for 5 written, so we know it's 5 to the power of 1. And I'm going to multiply it by 2, because that's what our power of a power rule says. We're going to take that outside power, multiply it by the inside power. So that's going to be times, next one's going to be times x to the power negative 2 times 2 times y to the third times 2. 5 to the power 1 times 2, well that's 5 squared, times x negative 2 times 2, well 2 times 2 is 4, negative times a positive is always going to be negative, times 3 times 2 is 6. Again, simplify where we can. 5 squared we know is 25, times x to the negative 4th. Well, if it's a negative power, we want to write that as a positive, which is going to be 1 over x to the 4th times y to the 6th. We know that these two, if we write them as a fraction, it's going to be over 1. So now when we multiply fractions, we just multiply across. 25 times 1 is 25, times y squared, sorry, y to the 6th is 25 y to the 6th. 1 times x to the 4th is x to the 4th, times 1 is x to the 4th. So it's 25 y to the power 6 over x to the 4th. Again, don't really change anything, I'm just using my power of power rule. Alright, I'm going to do question 15, because that looks like we combine a few things together. So I've got 12 a to the third power b to the negative 2 power times 2 a to the negative 5th b to the 4th divided by 6ab. Alright, again, when you see a question like this, you gotta ask yourself, what do you do first? The multiply or the divide? You know from BOMDAS we do multiply first. So we're gonna worry about the top, about the numerator. Like we did over here and over here, we're gonna multiply the coefficients together. So 12 times 2 times, put your a's together, so a to the third times a to the negative 5th. Put your b's together, b to the negative 2, b to the 4th. Again, the division, divided by 6ab, haven't touched it, I'm just going to leave that there. We'll get to that at the end. Now let's simplify. We know 12 times 2 is 24, times, well again, power of base is a, multiplying, so these two powers I'm going to add together. So it's going to be negative 3 plus negative 5. If you write your negative 5 in a bracket like this, then it's very easy to know that you got to simplify this bit first. Before I do that, I'm going to look at my b variable. Again, I've got negative 2, and I'm going to plus 4. Again, I have a denominator of 6ab, which I haven't looked at, haven't touched. We're going to leave that there. Simplify where we can. So we already have 24. Let's simplify a. Well, That's going to be a to the negative third. A positive and a negative is going to give us a negative. So it's going to be negative 3 take 5 times b. Negative 2 plus 4 is going to give us positive 2. And again, that's all over 6ab. Going to simplify this again. Negative 3 take negative 5 is negative 8. So a to the negative 8 times b squared over 6ab. Now we can't simplify anything on our top row. Now we bring the division in. So now we're going to look at what we're dividing. Again, my two coefficients, I can divide those. So 24 divided by 6 times my a variables, I can divide those. A here doesn't have a power, so we know there's a power of 1 on the bottom. So we've got a to the negative 8 divided by a to the 1. Likewise, b doesn't have a power here, so that's b to the negative 1. So we've got b squared over b to the 1. Now do each bit individually. 24 divides 6, that's 4. Times. We're dividing powers. When we divide powers, if they have the same base, we take those two away from each other. So we're going to do negative 8 take 1 times b. Again, we're dividing, base is b, take the powers away, 2 take 1. Simplify that across, I've got 4 times negative 8 take negative 1, that's negative 9, times b, 2 take 1 is 1. Again, if we have any negative powers, we would like to leave them as positive, so if we make that positive using our negative rule, that's going to be 1 over a, and the power becomes positive, so instead of negative 9, it's the power of 9 on the bottom, times b to the 1. Again, if we have a fraction, let's put our denominators in. So 4 is going to be 4 over 1 as a fraction. B to the power 1 is going to be b to the 1 over 1. So now let's multiply across. 4 times 1 is 4, times b is 4b. 1 times a to the 9th is a to the 9th, times 1 is a to the 9th. So that's our question. Started here, followed the steps, broke it down, and that's all it is with when you have coefficients and mixed variables.